Hi everyone, here's a quick training session for the attendance tracker, including using the iPad to capture your attendance. There are two workbooks that come with the attendance tracker. One is your main attendance tracking workbook, which all of your events get loaded in here and you're able to track attendance across an entire season. The other workbook is the iPad version, which is a slimmed down version that's really geared towards tracking the individual attendance for each event, whether that be a game, practice, or what have you. The advantage of this slimmed down version is that it's very easy to use either on your phone if you have Excel on there, or on your tablet such as an iPad, and easy to track who's absent, who's present, who's late, and those sorts of things. And you basically then upload those into your primary workbook. So let's get started, and the first thing we want to do is set up our main workbook. So this is our attendance tracker worksheet, and this is version 4.4.4 that we're working with here. This first tab is the event lists, and these will get filled in as you upload each event, or you can actually put them in here. So we're going to start, let's say, on October the 3rd. We had a 2 p.m. and let's call it a practice, and PI is practice on ice. Alright, and maybe that's our first practice. Now, so all your events can be loaded in here as if you have a schedule in advance and that sort of thing, or they can be added one at a time as you go. The second thing we want to do is summarize the events through. This is the date for when you're looking at your progress of attendance, or at any given point in time. It's up to what date. And here we're just going to set a date in the future, so let's just make it October 9th. Alright, so all of our reports and things will be effective as of October 9th. This allows you to do backwards looking attendance if you wanted to. So let's say you're near 3/4 way through the year and you want to know what your attendance was halfway through the year. You would set this at a date that's about halfway through your season, and then you'd be able to inspect what your attendance was as of that date. This is your main attendance record. This is where your roster goes. So we're going to put in a few players here. Names in there. Now, the only other thing that you might want to do before you start recording attendance is go to the Settings tab. And here is where there are standard codes that we've preset up for you with various keys for each of the attendance categories. So P for present, PL for present but late or left early, PNP present but not participating, etc. Excused absence, absent because of being sick, and that sort of thing. And then you've got your standard event types. So whether it's an exhibition game, a league game, tournament game, a dryland practice, PD, PI for on-ice practice, PO for some kind of off-ice practice, team meeting, all those sorts of things. Now you are able to customize these, so if you want to use different set of characters and to represent some of these, you can. There are some that are required to be there, and these are in gray, so you can't change those. However, you can change the key that's used for those. So we do need these types of things, and we've got 3 different game categories, and you can choose what you want for those. A few practice categories and other categories for team, and of course the canceled one. So all of these are required. You just need to have an event key defined for those, and you can provide a description of your own there. This one at the bottom here is set to PI. This is the primary practice event type. So one of the things that this does is calculates the practice to game ratio, And so by specifying PI, that's the on ice practice, that's their primary practice type, and you'll see the little asterisk there. So if we change this to, let's see, PD was the most important thing, you see the asterisk goes against PD. That wouldn't make sense. Practice to game ratio is really talking about how you utilize ice time. USA Hockey recommends 3-to-1, I believe it is, practice to game ratio. I think if you're getting 2-to-1 practice to game ratio through your season, you're doing a good job of allowing players to get a lot of touches with the puck. So once you have these set up, you're good to go. Changing these after you start recording attendance is going to be difficult. You would basically have to go back and re-record your attendance because these values get put in for every attendance record. So let's go and show you how to record attendance. Now the first way to record attendance is going to be using the workbook as your primary data entry tool, and those are basically entered here in the attendance record. You've got some totals that show up here, the calculated values and that sort of thing, and you see we have one event here that we're ready to record our attendance for. So presumably for this event, for this very first practice, I recorded the information on a piece of paper, and I'm just going to go in and enter into the attendance record. Very easy to do. All of my players were present on that very first practice, and so I'm just going to mark those all as present, and you can see that the totals add up here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the iPad version and setting that up so that you can record events as you go and then upload these at some later time from your iPad right into this worksheet. Alright, so let's do that now. So here's a blank iPad attendance collector, or any tablet that runs Excel. Office 365 would work. And you've got a master template, if you will, for an event attendance record. A very simple entry. You've got your roster that you're going to want to have in sync with your main workbook, and you've got settings. Now you can't edit these settings in here, or you could, but we want to have these synchronized with the main workbook that we already set up. We already done our customization on these. So if I switch back to the main workbook and I go to the settings tab, there's a button here called Save Settings, and this will synchronize all of these settings to our iPad version. So I'm going to click the iPad collector and press Save Settings here. Okay, and now it says that it's done. Now we'll switch back to our settings here, and our roster's in there, and all of our settings, if we had customized any of these, they would be set here as well. And we're ready to go to record a game. Now one of the things that we want to do is we can preset this up with our roster on our master, so we don't have to enter this each time, because generally you're going to want all of your players to be accounted for every single event, whether they're present or not. You might choose a default for the event type, such as on ice practice, and then you would leave that set there. And what you would tend to do is when you have another event, we just basically create a copy of this master, and we would call this, oh, I don't know, we would say it's 10-3 practice on ice for October the 3rd. And let's say, oh, I don't know, maybe this person was absent because they were sick, this person was present, and this one was maybe late, and I don't know, had car trouble. Okay. So basically I've captured the attendance for an event. I want to put the date in here, 10-3. The time was, let's say it was 7 p.m. And if you want to put some notes about this event, this was mostly a skating practice. All right. So that's our attendance. So now that we've got that entered in there, and you would obviously have more players here and that sort of thing. Once that's saved, now you've got all the workbooks open. You've got your primary workbook open, and you've opened up your practice workbook that collected that attendance. We go to the attendance record, and if we scroll down here, you can see that there's totals for all of the various attendance categories. I can just import this attendance, and I choose from my iPad attendance collector, press import. Successfully imported. You can immediately see that this event went in there. We've got the sick player, the present player, and the person that was late. We go to our event list, we see the new event has been added. We've got our attendance record here. And player notes, here's the one player note about a player that was late who had card trouble. Now if I found that the attendance is not right, maybe I want a description here, and I should have had so if I've got some practice session numbering convention, it gives me a description for that practice. Can put that there. Maybe I had this wrong, and this person was also late as well. Alright, so now I've updated that. Spelled Stevens wrong. So I've updated that. When I get back to my master here, I can go and import attendance again, and it will tell me it was successful. So it re-imported the same event with the same date and time, but the reason why it did that is if we look at the event list, the description changed, and the description helps uniquely identify that event. So it's possible that you could have had two events on the same day, so a morning practice and an evening practice. So what we want to do here is we can go and remove this and remove this and remove this. We can go to our attendance record, and I can basically delete this attendance here for that day or for that particular event, and now we're back there. Now if we go and try to include that event again, but what I'll do, I'll take out this description so that you can see from the unique perspective. We will try to import that same thing again, and it should tell us that event already exists with attendance records. Do you want to replace the attendance? Yes, we do. We're going to replace that. Alright, so now we should see the two players that are late all in one session, both on Saturday the 3rd of October. Now what I want to do, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make a copy of this again. But this is going to be a team meeting. Okay, so I'm going to use TM for team meeting. So after our practice, busy day, we had a team meeting. It was at, let's say it's 8:30 p.m. Alright, I can take out that note. And we went over team rules, talked about being late. I can just copy and paste these in here, and now when we go and import this event, I want to say no. Okay. What it tried to do there, it recognized within this attendance, there is a 7 p.m. practice, and I added the team meeting here. So everything was already in there. This practice was already in there, so I said no, don't re-import that practice, but it imported the team meeting. So if we look at our day on Saturday, we had a 2 p.m. practice, a 7 p.m. practice, and an 8:30 team meeting. And it's got the totals that have been recorded here for the various participants. You've got your totals down below, your averages, and view. Now that's how you would do it with a traditional worksheet entry. When we introduce the iPad, it gets a lot more flexible for us, a lot better, and we're going to go through that now. So the first thing I'm going to do, I want to save this to my iPad and or to my Dropbox. So I'm actually going to go to Dropbox, and we've got a training session here, and I'm going to put this right there. Alright, so it's got a couple of my things in there, and I've got my master version there as well. I'm going to close this file, and we'll keep our master open there, because what I'm going to do now is go and open that file on the iPad. So from the iPad, I'll go into Excel here, and within the training, there's my file, and it's going to open this event selector. It's on the master, like where we were. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to duplicate that. Click on this and duplicate that sheet. It gives me master 2. I can click on that again, and I can rename that by double clicking, and I'm going to say that it is 10:4, and it's a game. Alright, so I can go in here, and I can double click, put in my date here, 10:4. The time was, it says 5 p.m. game time, and it's not a practice. We're going to choose a exhibition game, and I'm going to say it's versus the Stars. Okay, and event notes. I think we're good with that. Well, we can put in here friendly. Well, it'd be nice if I could type friendly scrimmage, and this is no refs. Alright, click OK on that. So now there we are. So now this could be set up in advance, and now my team is showing up, and as they're showing up, I can mark them as present. I can mark someone as an excused absence. Get to know these categories as you do it for a little bit. Present but late, but present is the default. And then for anyone that's late, I'm going to put a note in here. Maybe it's 5 minutes late, something like that. All right, so that's so now I've just captured a game entry, and I can do multiple of these, many of these, and as I'm doing this, I'm going to want to save back to Dropbox. I can close this, and now I get the notification that that file has been updated. I can go back to Excel, or actually go here. We'll click on that, open up our sheet. We see that we've got our new game is in there, and if I go to here, and import the attendance, we grab our iPad, attendance, import, and it says that game, do you want to? No. The 8:30 on 10:3. No, we've already imported that. Okay, and it puts in our new game on October the 4th as an exhibition game. So now you can kind of see as you have the iPad application, you keep that with you, or it's on your phone and you grab your attendance at the end of the week, you can just upload all of your events in here. What you might want to do is after you've uploaded all of the games, you might create a new template for your iPad attendance collection and save that to Dropbox and remove all the games you've already loaded in, but keep your master in there so that you can continually and easily create new attendance records. So there's a nice overview on the attendance tracker and integration with the iPad.